Hello, welcome everyone. I'm Juan Michael Porter II. Excited to be here as co-moderator. You know who we're talking to, but before we all gasm out and like lose it, let me say that I'm a Black gay man living with HIV in the middle of Brooklyn, and I'm so happy to have seen Rocky Horror Picture Show because it gives me faith for reality and where we're going in the future. Jim?
Hey, everybody. My name is Jim Farmer. I am the Director of Talent Engagement for GALECA, which is the Society of LGBTQ Entertainment Critics. Um, I'm going to do a quick introduction and then we're going to jump to some questions. This feels so surreal. I am such a huge fan and thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much
you.
for doing this. All right. Michaela Jaé Rodriguez is making her Broadway debut in the revival of the cult classic musical, The Rocky Horror Show, directed by Sam Pickleton and running through July 19th at the iconic Studio 54 on Broadway. Michaela stars as Columbia alongside Luke Evans, Rachel Dratch, and a powerhouse A-list cast. The Rocky Horror Show marks Michaela Jaé's and Sam Pickleton's third project together following Runaways and Born All Night. Michaela Jaé made history as the first transgender actress to win a Golden Globe, earning Best Actress in a TV drama for her groundbreaking role as Blanca in Pose. She has also received Emmy and Critics' Choice nominations, along with honors from the NAACP and GLAAD for her trailblazing contribution to entertainment and representation. She can currently be seen on Apple TV's critically acclaimed Loot, opposite Maya Rudolph. She has also won two Dorian Awards from GALECA, including her GALECA LGBTQ IA Plus Trailblazer Award in 2021. I am so honored to be talking to you. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be here with y'all. And that was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to kick things off with our first question. And
Mhm.
something that I was observing was that it's perfect for this show because it is such a trans show. And I wonder if you can speak to the transformation of like A, bringing the show back to Broadway, and B, playing Columbia yourself as your debut.
I feel like, Rocky Horror has had so many different types of iterations come along. The first one happening over in London, and that being the original, then it transitioning to television and film, and then having its resurgence like right after that, and then having the first revival, and I think it was in the 2000s,
Hmm.
right? So Rocky Horror has had so many different iterations and so many different ways it's done, but this one I feel is a little bit more in depth. It has a little bit more mystery to it. It still honors the true essence of what Rocky Horror is and will always be, but I think in this one we take it to another notch by making it a higher stakes kind of situation. We make it more so of a sci-fi show, and I would say it can be a little bit scarier at times and real at times. I would say definitely more specifically for Colombia. And to your question in regards to the movement as a trans woman, it's amazing to even be playing Colombia alone, where I don't think a trans woman has played Colombia before in this kind of right. So it feels good. I thank Sam for putting me in this space. When I hear Frankenfurter, aka the wonderful Luke Evans, say he's from transsexual Transylvania. While he's singing that to me, it's almost like a call to liberation and a strength that I get knowing that I'm in this role and that this character is so close to him. So uh, there's so many topics I could bring to the question that you asked, and I hope I answered it. But there's a multitude of things that come along with this show, including liberation, and I would say even um like a bit of a retaliation, queer
Yeah.
retaliation.
That's the perfect answer. Perfect answer.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Exactly. Just tell us a little bit more about your approach to Columbia.
Well, I like to every character that I play, especially the characters that are, camped up more so than often, which we love camp, don't get me wrong. Like, and this show is full of it. Um, I like to actualize the characters that I play when they are in specific shows like this, where some people just don't take them as serious. So this specific role, I wanted to make Columbia as real as possible. I mean, her costume alone speaks for her showy and her buoyant character. but we get to see sides of her that I don't think a lot of people paid attention to. And what a lot of people don't understand is that she has been with Frank the longest, and that she has ride or die. She has been his um his like right hand girl since the very beginning, before even Riff Raff and
Magenta.
Magenta were even there, I would believe. So there's a lot that goes on with the relationships that she has with all of them, and how intertwined it is, and how alluring Frankenfurter is, and how he lured her in, and how he lured Eddie in. And if you will, they were probably the first Janet and Brad in the very
Mm.
beginning. And then to see her boyfriend Eddie killed, and then half of him is created in Rocky. So I took all of those pieces and I actualized them and made people and myself understand, oh wow, she's going through a lot. The reason why she's so unhinged is because Frankenfurter has put her through a lot, and yet and still she will continue to go to bat for him because she just loves him so. And just like how Frankenfurter is looking for a specific kind of love, she's looking for it too because she's lost her love.
The conversation around love, what's really clear with you is that she does love him.
She
That
does.
it's not just that she's crazy, that this is an actual relationship, which I had never seen before. And
Mhm.
is that something that you discovered on your own? Was that this decision that you were like, no, 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 she's not just here because she's a groupie. It's not a cult thing. Like this is something that fulfills her and that she wants with him as well.
Yes, it was. It definitely was. When I came into it, that was my first initial thought process of making her as real and actualized as possible. And then when the amazing director, Sam Pinkleton, who I love and I've worked with for years, when he topped that off by saying she loves him and she's the princess of this crew, he just solidified that for me. And I just delved in even deeper. So, yeah.
This cast, oh my God, what an amazing cast! I mean, like Luke Evans, Rachel Dratch, Stephanie Shu. I mean, can you talk a little bit about working with all these people? And like, did you know many of these people beforehand?
It's funny. I have had run-ins with all of them on the red
Mhm.
carpet before. Also, shout out to Luke, Andrew, and
Yeah.
Stephanie. They just got tremendous nominations. Luke just received two nominations. Stephanie just received one, as well as Andrew Duran. So shout out to them. Congratulations to the cast. And also Sam Pinkleton for getting his nomination. But yeah, like this is a stacked cast. And I have met them a couple of times before. Me and Juliette Lewis, we've seen each other a couple of times on the carpet. We've shared hugs and we've held hands and we've told each other how much we've loved each other. And now we get to work with each other. Stephanie, I've seen so many times at event parties. So we've definitely had a great rapport when we first came into this. Andrew Duran, believe it or not, we did a show, a workshop together of a show that went to off Broadway and almost had its run to Broadway, but things happen. But me and Andrew did the workshop of it together. It was called The View Upstairs.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot of us have had a lot either run-ins or work together or have had great rapports. And just to see that we're all the time that we knew each other and the time where we're at right now is just beautiful to see that we get to share in this space together and eat it together because each and every last one of us are eating it on the stage.
What's funny, I was saying to Jim beforehand that for it to be such a stacked cast, you all work together, that there's not any sense of rivalry. It's like a
No.
full love of this story.
Yeah, I think we all one we've grown up, and I think we are too we that would be so much energy to put in to be rivals at this time. The only rivalry we're thinking about is Heated Rivalries, which is a great television show. Everybody go and watch it. But no, I think we are so invested in telling this story the best way we can. We want to try to actualize the story. Stephanie is doing something wonderful with Janet that we've never seen before, as well as Andrew and Amber Gray, along with Juliette Lewis. Like, if I can speak for the whole cast, we have really become a unit. We solidified that in the rehearsal space, and it just has carried through this show and through previews, and now close to opening.
Mm. I want to talk a little bit about your physicality. And first, can I see the nails?
Yes,
Shows the nails.
the nails are not done, but they are still very healthy, which I'm not afraid to show
Your
because I
hands are
have
so
a
beautiful.
thank you.
Sorry to cut you off. It's just like, I you we shouldn't talk about people's bodies, but you were snatched, like
Thank
just
you very much.
snatched to the
Thank you.
gods. And I'm curious for you, like, what is your workout routine to continue showing up this way? And also, how are you taking care of the hair? Because the wigs are amazing, but like,
Okay.
how?
Well, braid downs, protective styles, crucial. Like they're crucial when it comes to wig wearing. And also in regards to, the body work, I don't work out as often. This show is my workout plan. I know I do kind of flaunt that just a little bit. No, but I will say like what I do in the morning, I have to stretch. Like it's so crucial because speaking of physicality, Columbia in this iteration is very physical with how sometimes contorted she can be and how Harley Quinn she can be. She is unhinged. Throughout all of the iterations, she is very unhinged due to all of the stress that has been put on her with handling everything in regards to Frankenfurter and also her with the Castle Trio, which we call the Coven. So she's very, very agile and also flexible. And with that comes stretching and making sure that my body is, warmed so that when I do go in, I can do all of those very kind of contorty kind of movements with her.
Hmm.
When I was growing up at the University of Georgia, I was introduced to Rocky Horror, and I came out shortly afterwards, and I felt such comfort being in that audience. And it's so reassuring to see that so many years later, so many decades later, this is still material that speaks to us and it brings us all together. Can you talk about that universality and why this material just lasts so long, why it's so, prominent in our community?
Well, I think it's one thing when the actors come together and we do a movie and, the crew members come together and they help create the movie that the actors are in. But it's another thing when you have the people who support it, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why it has sustained and has such longevity in its success. It's because the people who come to see it and the people who have come to see it are not just cults, following. They're actualized real human beings who see something in each and every last one of these characters and can relate to that. And so, yeah, we do a great job at what we do. And yes, we love what we do. But for the most part, it's the people who show up and support it and let it flourish and let it fly. And I mean, the movie alone speaks testaments to where it started, how it quote unquote flopped, and then once someone took a chance on it in another state and put it in a midnight show, what happened with it? It gained a tremendous amount of traction. And that was because it was a whole bunch of individuals who considered themselves misfits, who came in and created this whole culture around it. So I give all of the love to the supporters and the fans and the people who came back to make it what it is today. So that's what it is. Yeah, we're a big part of it, but it takes two to tango, and I think the fans are a part of that tango.
It's culture shifting.
Yeah.
And there's a way that the culture continues to shift. You mentioned something earlier about the coven, and there is something very woo-woo witchy. Like,
Yeah,
can you spill a little bit about that? And like, do you believe in magic?
I
Because you're making it.
do. I do. I do believe in very mysterious magic and things of that nature. Uh in regards to the coven, uh Riff Raff, Magenta, and Columbia. Um, for the people who haven't seen it, I don't want to give too much away, but they are very intertwined in a way where they want to make sure that Frankenfurter's finished product and his experiment and his magic comes to life. So they are a key component to making sure the magic happens and that the magic stays alive, if you will. And Columbia is a part of that by simply being there and helping him. And Riff Raff and Magenta, if some of you already know, they are another key component carrying out a mission that they need to carry out. And one of the missions is making sure that magic lives and sees if that magic that lives is good for the planet or not good for the planet.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Again, with the no spoilers, when I think about Rocky Horror, I think about audience interaction and yelling and throwing things. How does that translate to the New York stage? How does that work here?
I mean, it's pretty easy for us. We welcome it. We do have some things in place where we have some of the people who may heckle. Is that a heckler? Heckle. Um, Jekyll and Hyde. Um, Listen, we when we do have people call out, and it might be a little bit of abruptive to the cast, we make sure we let them know. But for the most part, we encourage people to do call outs. It is a part of the legacy of the show, and what would it be if it didn't? So like we definitely encourage it, and people definitely do, and we love curveballs. A lot of us have went to school for impromptu, so like we know how to improv with the audience. Once they break that fourth wall, they better get ready because we have fun with them.
Speaking of like
Uh,
school and training and improv and whatnot, let's take a step back. You studied performing. Like, this
Yes,
isn't just something that happened out of nowhere. I know people know you from TV, but I don't know if everyone knows that you were also Angel in the revival of Friends off
sure
Broadway. And
was.
can you speak about your journey from, growing up, going to performing arts, and then making your off Broadway debut and like being in this life?
It's wild to think because I actually was in school at the time for music and songwriting at Berklee College of Music, and I had been just gearing up to be a pop star. I had no idea that musical theater and acting would even bark up my tree, because I really was someone who just had ideas of being the first girl to break the glass ceiling and be a pop sensation. And no, it didn't happen that way. And I ain't mad. You know what I mean? I'm actually thankful the way things happen. But yeah, I started out in Newark, New Jersey. My mom got me in musical theater. Excuse me, she got me into workshops for kids, youth performance workshops and summer youth programs. At 11 years old, I was actually the youngest in my crew. I wasn't supposed to be 11. I was supposed to be like, I think 12 and a half and 13, but they accepted me in. And I majored in vocals and I minored in dance and I also minored in acting. So that's where it all started. And then things sprawled out from there. I started getting opportunities out of New Jersey Performing Arts Center. I got an opportunity to do Camp Broadway. I got to see my first Wicked musical, and I got to also see Fiddler on the Roof. And then as time went on, I got older. I was 14. I went to a school called Arts High, where Michael B. Jordan and Melba Moore and Tisha Campbell, the list goes on. Went there, studied classical music for 4 years, and also minored and did electives there. After I graduated there, I went to Berklee College of Music, and I went there for semester. I went there for a 5-week program as well as I did another program in Miami, and I got my call back while I was in Miami doing Miami's young artist performance. They had a program there, which Kerry Washington was a part of, and some other artists were a part of, and that's how like I got enthralled in music, like how I wanted to. And in my first semester, I went on summer break and I did a small performance, a community performance at New Jersey Performing Arts Center again with Cynthia Merrill, and it was Rent. And Freddie Walker Brown came to that, the original Joanne. And at the end of that, she was like, listen, I got you an audition for the Rent that's coming back in 2011. You have to go. And I was like, but I just know, she said, you're gonna go. And this was in the middle of my finals for my first semester at Berklee College of Music. And I went through the audition process while doing my finals and while going through midterms and my finals, first and second, third callback. I was going back and forth to New York. Final callback, I said yes, and you know, goodbye to college and hello to fame and stardom.
can you can you talk about working with Sam? I think this is the third time you've collaborated, correct?
Yeah, this is the third time me and Sam have worked. We first met at Encores. He was the director of Liz Swados' Runaways, and Liz Swados was a mentor of his. And he gathered a whole bunch of just talented kids, and he lumped some of me in with those kids. So that's how we met, and I met a couple of other amazing people that are very connected with him, Ani Taj and a woman named Jenny Coons, who's an
Mm.
amazing director. And then right after that, there was a bit of a little bit of a break, and I did some workshops. And I remember Jenny Coons and Sam saying, "Hey, we would love for you to do this new iteration of a musical called Burn All Night." And I said yes. And they were like, "We want you to play Una. She's this life of the party. She owns the club. She comes in and she sings." I'm like, yeah, that sounds like me. So I did it. Found out that Sam was a part of it. He was the choreographer at that time, associate choreographer. And Jenny Coons was the director, so that's when we worked again. And now this. Um, Now we're all established, and it's so good to see like what we've worked on and how hard we worked and where we've come to, and guess we share in that. So it's a really kismet relationship. I love him dearly. He means a lot to me, and yeah, I'm so glad we get to share in this.
It's interesting because I didn't know that he had a choreography background as well, that that was in his like
Oh
hat.
yeah, oh yeah.
And that's also interesting for you because you started off, performing and you're a singer and you're a songwriter and now you're an actress and you're a dancer. And how do you see those as separate parts of yourself or are they all integrated? Are you like, nope, I'm just the full artist?
I would say exactly what you said. I am a full artist and they're all meshed up in one. If I did have to single myself out, it would probably, I would single the music and the acting and separate them, but they are like just, they're a part of me as a whole. So even if I wanted to, I couldn't, they are, what encompasses Michaela Jaé is just she's an artist and a creator, and she just wants to continually create and let her art be the canvas for that.
But also a producer. I saw Saturday Church.
Yeah, I did a little, I did produce a little bit too.
I was going to ask you about Saturday Church because I adored that film so much, and you were so wonderful. But I did not realize that there was actually an off Broadway version of Saturday Church.
Yeah, so oh my God, why am I blanking? Um, so first and foremost, we did that film, oh, now almost about, I would say 11 years ago.
Mhm.
And believe it or not, while I was doing Runaways, a good friend of mine, her name is Margot Bingham, she was like, yeah, I'm doing this. I just auditioned for this movie. And one of my good friends, he wants you to come and audition for the show. I mean, excuse me, audition for the movie. And I was like, I would love to. What's the movie about? And she gave me the rundown of it. And I went into the audition room and I remember being nervous because I didn't have really a clue as to what I was getting into, but I knew it was for a good reason. With the plot wasn't really kind of thick yet because they didn't want us to really know. But yeah, it happened and it was one of the best experiences that I could have ever had. And I actually, believe it or not, met a lot of the cast members that I will be working with later on down the line in Pose when I did that. But yes, that's long story short. I got a call from my good friend. And he was like, I would love for you to partake in this. I really think it's like important for you to be an integral part of this movement. You've been a part of it such a long time. You have so much to say. I think you should probably be a producer on this. And I said, I would love to be a producer on it. And that's where, that's how everything sprawled out. And I'm really, really thankful to him.
So the production, the musical, those who don't know, it went from being a movie and turned into an amazing musical with costumes by my good friend Queen Jean.
Queen Jean, yes.
Queen Jean needs to design you an outfit for the Tony
I've
Awards.
been waiting and I cannot wait until she does so. Until then, I should be patiently and excitingly waiting.
It's, well, I'm noticing this sort of, you said kismet earlier, and there is that feeling of like the way your journey has been, of like, it seems almost like you're always saying yes to the blessings and opportunities that come to you. And I'm wondering, like, how do you have that confidence to know? Is it just that you know you're going to do the hard work, or is it just believing that it's going to work out?
That's the thing for me. It's knowing it's gonna work out. There's a belief, definitely, but there's a knowing too in self and in my existence. I just know it has to. Not because of me though. Like I ain't doing this just for myself. There is a small piece that I do it for me because you need to have some of that. But for the most part, there are people out there that need to see some kind of example of representation. So I do it for that. And I know that sounds cheesy. A lot of people be saying it and they don't be really meaning it. But I'm the person that means what I say, and that's what I do it for. I'm not doing this for the coin, even though the coin is cute. But like, I'm not just doing this for the coin. I'm not just doing this for the recognition for myself. I'm doing it so that when a young girl, no matter if she's cis, no matter if she's trans, but if she's a young Black girl, I went to my old school today and this young Black girl came up to me and she said, "Oh my God, I love you. I was just watching you yesterday." She's literally like 16 years old. And that alone makes me go, "Oh, okay, I'm doing my job. I got to keep doing this. Like, I'm going to keep doing this." There is no question as to if or when or how. Like, I just got to keep doing it.
Hmm.
You you mentioned Pose earlier, and I just first off, thank you for Pose. I
Hmm.
mean, I can't begin to tell you how meaningful that show was to our community. I just thank you. Blanca was one of my favorite TV characters ever, and I rewatched episodes again and again, and just thinking. But just can you talk about? And I'm gonna try not to tear up. Um, can you talk about being part of that and what a groundbreaking series it was, and just what Pose's legacy is?
Yeah, I will say when I first got the role, I hadn't had work for 3 years.
Mhm.
And I had just started getting into the rut of finally like picking up on two things. It was only two things that were about to land for me. It was my first Broadway opportunity, which was Once on This Island, and it was Pose. And I hadn't heard back from Pose for 2 weeks. So I was just like, well, I didn't get that. Well, Once on This Island, this is going to be my Broadway debut. I'm at the fifth callback. They told me I got it. I'm going to be playing Papa Gay. Great. And then I got the call from Ryan Murphy literally 2 days after that. And he called me and said, "Honey, you have the part. Don't worry about it." And even in that moment, I still didn't believe him. But he was like, "Honey, you have the part." And I was just like, okay, well, this is great, And then I went downstairs and I cried. Um, and then the process started. And boy, was it huge and fantastical and big and colorful. You can tell the budget was huge. Um, but more than anything, it was so solidifying to be with other trans women who had the same dreams and who wanted to tell the stories of tell the unsung stories of the trans women who aren't here with us today. Um, So yeah, it was a joy. It was hard sometimes because we had to tap into a lot of those women, and to tell their stories was heartbreaking, but it was so liberating because even the women that are living today, they would come up to us and say, "We never got a chance to actually tell these stories, and now the world gets to see that." To tell the stories of young Black gay men who were really trying their best in a time of the crisis that we know is AIDS and HIV, and living to tell the story and also watching friends just die within weeks. That alone was heavy, but it was worth it. It was worth it. My mother, and I promise and because I can go on for days about this, but my mother was a part of that. My mother was a part of the queer community. She was heavily involved in the ballroom scene and she was heavily involved in the queer scene. And even her seeing me on the screen, she's like, "Oh, so you really did channel me." I say, "Yeah, girl, you were the only one who raised me." So like it was an outstanding and astounding experience. It was hard. It was challenging. We stayed up very late, but it was rewarding. I wouldn't have chose anything else. I do thank Ryan tremendously and Brad Falchuk and Brad Simpson and Nina Jacobson and the list can go on. Like I thank all of them for taking a chance on us and taking a chance on me. And, hopefully at some point down the line I get to be his leading lady again in something else. But until then, I'm glad this legacy lasts on. And you asked about legacy, and I think that's love, like actual love, what it looks like to fight for love. Like Blanca fought for her kids because she didn't have that and she wanted to see her legacy live on. And I feel like I even feel accomplished for her. Like I feel like uh, um, I feel like the woman who she was a extravaganza, Angie extravaganza. I feel like it was somewhat loosely based off of her, and I feel like she would be so proud of me. I feel like a lot of the women, trans women, would be so proud of me knowing that this gets to carry on and everybody gets to watch it, young to old, and know what that journey looked like. And it ain't stopping, clearly, because your girl ain't stopping no time soon. You know, she's from Brick City, North New Jersey. Whitney Houston, we love you. Miss Whitney, we miss you. Okay, I'm done. I'm done, you know, because I could talk for days.
Thank you. And I know I have to say for me, being a Black gay man living with HIV, that it was so important for this storytelling, not just at the time, but for now, so that people remember that we don't have to go back there. We already
No,
went through it. There's no reason to go back. And
exactly.
I, coming back to like you being on Broadway right now in this role, what strikes me is that like so much of what you do is about love. Like whether you're playing the dramatic actress, like holding it down, the mother, whether you are playing the person in love who is not receiving that love, whether you're playing the person who's discovering themselves, I'm wondering like when you're on stage, are you sending that love out to people, hoping that they will find it within themselves? Because I will say that I felt that connection from you.
Yes. I'm always doing that. It feels good to I'm a cheesy girl. I'm a cuddly, emotional, nurturing. I love warmth, and any way, or shape, or form I can exude that out of my pores, I'm gonna do it. And it's in anything I do, especially in the roles that I play because they have more of a reverence and they have more of an effect on people, you know. So yes, I do make sure I send that love out. When I scream I loved you to Frank, I mean that. Like I mean that. Like cuz she did.
Hmm.
I don't even know in that moment if she's reconciling, if she still loves him, because I think she does. I think, but she's being curt and direct with him, and that alone, I know somebody else in that audience has said that to someone.
Hmm.
You know, to challenge the person who loves them too, to put an ed at the end of the love to make them go, wait, you loved me, what, you don't love me anymore? Oh, so now you're paying attention. Like that is what I want to send out. That is what I want people to think about when I'm inside of Columbia's mind, her crazed, unhinged mind that was caused by Frank. I believe she's another form of Harley Quinn from DC. Like he's the Joker and she's Harley Quinn.
As we start to wrap up, I know you
Yeah.
have a number of projects coming up. I'm really intrigued by the film Wildfire. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the film Wildfire, me, Randy Jackson, and a couple of other people, we've been working on it for a while now, and it's still in production. We're still trying to find some of the cast right now, and I'm really excited about that. It's been on a little bit of a on a little bit of a hiatus because we're still trying to do casting and everything. We're still trying to find the young actress, but it's a movie that is about love. It is about finding one another in times where both individuals are alone, and it's also about sensory skills and emotional skills and how you have to be mature enough to handle that, especially even with a kid who is not capable of certain things. So that is in the works. Also, I'm attached to another project, a television project that I can't really speak about right now because she's under gag order, honey. No, but yeah, I'm really excited about that too, and working with a close friend that is a part of it. So there's a lot of things that are in the works. As we all know, right now it's a bit of a hard time for us girls out here, but I don't see myself stopping anytime soon.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did we want to take a moment to offer our two members on if they would like to ask a question? Because
Yeah.
I can keep asking.
I
Well,
think I think
listen.
yeah, I've incorporated some of the questions that we have already.
Okay, lovely. I didn't, I'm a little selfish, so trying to share the love in the space.
The last call for any more questions. If not, we'll just take them all the rest of them.
Well, three, two, one. Okay, moving on.
Oh,
Yeah.
When there is a level of comfort that there's both a pettiness to Columbia, like where she lets it be known that she is the queen of the domain, but there's also a comfort in her letting people be who they are. And I wonder for you, because no spoilers, like,
yeah.
can you just speak a little bit about that, finding, balancing that?
Yeah, it's a hard balance, especially when you're channeling a character like her. But I think what helps her is Frank, because Frank is actually the leader, right? And she's the second to his leadership, right? I think her taking kind of like a page out of Frank's book
Hmm.
on how Frank moved and how he accepted all of the phantoms in, how he pulled her in. I think that's her goal to go, oh, well, if he did this, I can do this too. I'm just a little crazed in the way I do it. I'm excited and I'm giddy and I'm also a little bit mysterious and a little gaudy too. But that doesn't mean anything. I still like the fact that we get to have newcomers to the house. So I think that balance is Frank. I think he is the kind of like looming, um, sexy but dark and warm spirit that's there. And she's the light, giddy, fun, party driven kind of spirit that is there. That is what the dynamic is between them, and it equals out really well, just like how Riff Raff and Magenta equal each other out as brother and sister.
Okay, as we wrap up, Michaela Jaé Rodriguez and half of Hollywood is in the cult classic musical, The Rocky Horror Show, running through July 19th at the iconic Studio 54 on Broadway. I am counting down the days till I see it. I've heard great things, including from my colleague here, so I am excited about it. Um, I we can't thank you enough for taking
Thank you.
time to talk to us today, and for your career, and for just being all that you've done. Thank you.
Anytime. Anytime. Anytime.
Don't tell us that because we'll call you back.
Yeah,
Well, then call back.
we'll
And I
extend
shall
this
I
for
sh-
another 45 minutes if you say that.
and we shall talk about the new things that will be on the horizon.
Yay.
Anyway, thank you so much for your time. I
Of
really appreciate
course.
it.
You
Thanks so much.
too. Bye, y'all.
Bye.